best advice for the staff?
I urge you to cultivate a culture of savings and investment. Salary adjustments are not opportunities for increased expenditure, but for building financial security. I think that sank. Salary adjustments are not opportunities for increased expenditure, but for building financial security. GHOne is open to staff of the Judicial Service, judges and magistrates, the Attorney General's Department, Legal Aid Commission, Council for Law Reporting, CHRAJ, and others. The Judicial CTSS is equally open to you. I encourage you to join and benefit from these life-changing initiatives.
Paul Bafuboni in there, he says that look, if your salary has been adjusted, it doesn't mean you should increase your expenditure. You should have a way of dealing with it so that you stay put. You'll be able to stay within your means and all of that. But in all of this, he's been advising the staff on how to deal with justice seekers.
As you serve court users, treat them with courtesy, compassion, and professionalism. As you serve court users, treat them with courtesy, compassion, and professionalism. That is how we will achieve our vision of providing equal access to quality justice for all.
Advice has always come from the Chief Justice. Make sure that the people that you are serving, you serve them with diligence. You serve them the way you are supposed to serve them for justice to prevail. But Justice Senor Jamefe, who was the chairman of the function, also said this.
I remember very well on the 31st of January 2023, the former Chief Justice, Enimia Boy, and I launched this fund. I remember vividly. And I'm so happy that I've been honored to chair the first AGM for the fund. I'm so happy about that. And I thank you for honoring me for this job.
So, Justice Senor Jamefe, a justice of the Supreme Court, who has played a very pivotal role in this particular fund, GHOne Fund, for the staff. And he was the chairman of the function on Thursday, where all these things prevail and all of that. So, in respect of the annual AGM for JUSAC, these are some of the things that took place in all of that. But we should expect the SkyTrain, Professor Christopher Mwiyokunfi in court today, and of course, the issue about Bernard and Tribu Esiakon, Chairman Wontumi, also coming up in court today.
Absolutely. Mutala, thank you so much for bringing us to court today. And this is still GA Today here on GH1 Television. We'll be right back with a breakfast review segment after this break. Well, thank you so much for staying with us here on GH1 Television. This is the Breakfast Review segment of GH Today, and my guests are seated this morning for us to have conversations that really do matter to our dispensation, so to speak. And from the New Patriotic Party, I have Richard Jimfi. He is a member of the MPP's communications team. And also, I have the Member of Parliament for Jirapa, Cletus Seidu Dapila, in studio. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard, this is my first time I get to meet you in studio. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm very well, Joshua. I mean, I've been watching you. And yeah, you make some of our mornings sometimes.
It's important.
And other times?
Well, you know, as a politician, I cannot get it all the time. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, you are doing a good job
Thank
for
you.
the people of this country.
Thank you.
We appreciate people like you.
Absolutely.
Objectiveness is always the key. So I'm also happy to meet you for the first time.
Absolutely.
And of course, privileged to be on your show.
Absolutely. Welcome. And Cletus Dapila, he has been very busy. It's been a while.
Yes, my brother Joshua. How have you been?
I'm well. I hope you're well as well.
By His grace.
Nice.
Keeping
how's
good.
the constituency going?
Yeah, not bad. It's fine. It's stable. There's peace. Yeah. There's peace. We are fine.
You are fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been a year.
Yeah.
It's been a year since, for you, for instance, you had to go to the polls and get the nod of the people of Jirapa to represent them in Parliament. But a year on, I mean, how has it been? You say you are fine, but isn't that fine?
Yeah, it's fine. Better than before. Let me once again say good morning to yourself and my brother. We're meeting for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, let me say good morning to your distinguished viewers. Yes, a year today, 7th December, was a day that Ghanaians went to the polls to choose a leader, a president, and some 276 members of parliament. And I was seeking re-election.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my second term as a member of parliament for the good people of Jirapa. Yes, it was hard work. Hard work. Elections is hard work. Election is, you don't win elections on a silver platter. Particularly, the Ghanaian has become so discerning. Ghanaians have become conscious of what is good for them as far as elections are concerned. So it's the NDC did a lot of work. We identified with the people. We resonated with them. The presidential candidate did not sleep. In fact, he campaigned on policies. He campaigned on what he will do if he becomes the president.
Right.
And I love the manner in which he did his campaign, and all of us follow suit. Well, he wasn't attacking, he wasn't calling names, he was focused in identifying with the people. Yes, he was president before, so he told the people that he has the experience. Where Ghana was, you didn't need a leader that would come and be experimenting. You needed an experienced hands, and he was the right person. And Ghanaians voted for him. They endorsed him convincingly and voted massively for his parliamentarians. So far, so good. We came, our first budget, we promised to scrap some levies, you know, e-levy, emission levy, and all those nyama levies. We did away with them as we promised. We also promised to, be prudent. Prudence means that we will manage the economy and spend wisely. And I think so far we haven't deviated from that path. We've been able to stabilize the cedi. It's one of the problems that we have had in the last regime.
Right.
And we promise that when we get the nod, we are going to handle the CD. We'll make sure we stabilize it. That will ensure price stability. And so far, I think we fared well when you come to, the stability of the CD. When you come to inflation, some years back, inflation went as far as 54%. They brought it down to 23.8%. Today, if you talk of inflation, you are looking at a single number, some 6%, 6.3%. This, if you check debt to GDP, the debt left for us, some 726 billion Ghana cedis, at least, because we've been able to manage the forex, we, got the debt reduced to some 600 million. Billion plus. And that is the bondholders. We promised them that we will pay matured coupons. We did. The debt exchange, domestic exchange that was brought onto our people, we did. We paid them some bondholders. We increased the sinking fund. Joshua, all aspects of our economy has seen some significant improvement, be it education, be it health, be it agriculture, commerce, and all of that. Stability, fuel prices, relatively stable. That is what we promised the good people of Ghana.
Right.
Yeah. So far, if you go to, and let me tell you, one of the things that we did that honestly I'm so happy about was to uncap all the statutory funds that were capped by the former administration. We promised, we said that GHOne was set out for a purpose. This Assembly Common Fund, it was for a purpose. Okay? NHIA funds were for a purpose. Now, these statutory funds were capped and the monies were being, a percentage of it were sent to the Ministry of Finance. Let's say the consolidated fund for whatever that they use it for, we don't know. And I have said that one of the bad decisions that the previous administration did was to cap all these funds because they had the numbers to do that at the time. They were 169. So when they came, they used their numbers to cap these funds. For what purpose? They were just following executive power. But that was needless. Joshua, when was the last time you heard service providers laying their truths as far as National Health Insurance Authority is concerned? It's a thing of the past because finance keep on releasing their monies to them. They are also paying the service providers, so you won't hear anything like that. You understand? GHOne is performing wonders. If you look into the budget, in fact, if you go to my constituency, Jirapa, we have a school that is a day school, hence senior high. We are converting it into a boarding house. GHOne is, courtesy GHOne.
Okay.
GHOne is giving us the project. Some girls dormitory, boys dormitory, classroom blocks, and all of that. You understand? Go to Ulo Senior High. We're going to do some 12-number classroom blocks. A whole lot. GHOne is performing. We go to St. Francis Girls Senior High. We're doing an ICT center, blah, blah. So all I want to say is that capping that fund was, honestly, it was needless.
It was detrimental to development.
To development.
Okay.
Particularly common fund. Today, we use our numbers. We told you we use our numbers responsible. We use our numbers to uncap these funds. You understand? 80% of funds, common fund, is being sent to the local assemblies for development. I'm a former district chief executive. I understand local concept very well. The local concept wasn't just created for fun. It was to bring development to the doorsteps of the people and to let the local people take decisions as to how to solve their own problems. Now, when the MPP came, one of the bad policies, one of the bad decisions they took was to starve the assemblies of resources. Today, if you go to the assemblies, for instance, let me give you an example. In the whole of 2024, this Assembly Common Fund that was sent to Jirapa Municipal Assembly, a whole year, was not up to 2 million Ghana cedis. A whole year. Today, just two quarters, they are hitting 10 million Ghana cedis. Just 2 quarters. So when you go to the assemblies today, Joshua, they are happy. They have resources to work with. So you go, you see them cutting salt for construction of classroom block, construction of church compound, construction of daycare, drilling boreholes, and all of that. This is what we ought to be doing, you know. So I can tell you that so far, so good. We are human beings governing.
Okay. And
one of the areas, too, that we fared well is fighting corruption. Fighting corruption. Joshua, so far, almost a year, you won't hear of any financial scandal against any President Mahama's nominee. President Mahama told Ghanaians that he was coming to govern with just 60 ministers. And he's kept his word with the people. He did not flip-flop. He did not change his mind. Even though when we came, there was pressure. Some even advised that he should, you know, come to apologize to Ghanaians and appoint some 70, 65. He says, no, we can work with 60 people. So this is what 60 ministers are doing for this country.
Right.
So it's a benchmark. I think going into the future, I don't see how any president can come and want to appoint more than 60 ministers. You have problems with the Ghanaian populace. The Ghanaian will not give you that support to do that. So all I want to say is that President Mahama is walking his talk. President Mahama hasn't changed his mind. All that he told the Ghanaian is what he is doing for the people of Ghana. Okay. And I honestly think that so far so good. Fight against corruption. When you look into President Mahama's eyes, when he's swearing in ministers, appointees, even when you go to take your letter as chief executive, in their orientation, he made them know that, look, I won't shield anybody. If you find yourself into any illegality by way of corruption, be rest assured that the law enforcement agencies will deal with you.
Right.
I will not shield you as president. I won't protect you because corruption is an enemy to this country. Corruption, if we are able to plug or look corruption leakages in this country, I tell you, we have so much money to work with. You understand? So when you see President Mahama sounding a caution, and he did it before. You remember the Jida case. His own friend, Abuga Pele, subjected him to investigation and was finally jailed. So he's not missing his words when he advised his appointees to keep faith with the Ghanaian. Don't be accountable at any point in time. Public services accountability. You cannot want to serve the public without accountability. And you should know, whatever you are doing, a day of accountability will come. Okay. There will be a day of reckoning. So any appointee today, wherever you find yourself, watch your back, cover your back. Make sure that anything you are putting your signature on, read it thoroughly. Know that you are doing it for Mother Ghana and you are not breaking any rule, breaking any law. That is what I will advise our appointee. And I'm happy so far. They fared well. They've done well. They are human beings. But we haven't heard any scandal, on any of them. I'm sure we have our people, our political opponents sometimes, they will make serious attempts just to create scandals. But the scandals are not coming. Okay. They are not coming. It's just simply because we are disciplined. Right. We've come to serve the people of Ghana. So the
appointees are paying heed to what the president said?
Yeah, they have to. They know. They have to. Why? You yourself as an appointee, I tell you, when you look into his eyes, you will know that he won't spare you, even if you are his relative or whoever, however close you are to him. He wouldn't spare you. You understand? Okay. And like I said, he did those things before. And so far, so good. So far, the appointees are doing very well. We presented a budget. If you read the budget, at least we've tackled, the budget is going to address many of our educational needs. Joshua, we saw Wasi bad performance.
Yes.
And I was on a sister TV station and we had a discussion on it. In fact, it was a non-partisan discussion, you understand, because I have cried. I've cried in Parliament, even in the last budget that was presented in my debate. I participated in the debate. I cried because I said that, look, primary education has been neglected for far too long. For far too long, Joshua. Joshua, you cannot build a house without good foundation. You see, if it's not magic, you can't perform magic when the basics are not right. You see, if a child is poor in mathematics from primary school to junior high, it will be difficult for that child to be able to perform magic by being so good in mathematics. It's just an example I'm giving.
Okay.
So most of our, if we check the primary education, junior high, Joshua, there is no motivation to even learn. You understand? We got it wrong. And we made it look like every child must go to secondary school.
Okay.
However, the performance of that child. You understand? So there is no competition, no healthy competition. What is the motivation in trying to study? When I know, even if I get any grade, they will send me to, they will place me.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So, Joshua, you cannot. So we haven't invested in primary education, capitation grants, go to most of the primary school, no furniture, a whole lot. Teacher distribution is also a problem. You see, I have advocated that, look, let's send teachers, or when people finish training as teachers, let's send them to their respective regions so that they can stay to help their own people.
I think we'll come back to the conversation on education, but then let me bring Richard in with regards to the performance of the administration a year on. Now, he says that President Mahama has walked the talk. He's basically put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, Joshua, before he comes, his walk his talk because, Joshua, I've said it, all the microeconomic indicators are so positive. You understand? They are not. You can't compare. You understand?
I'm sure Richard gets.
So, good morning to you once again, and my honorable. I mean, Jarapa have been there.
Okay.
The only, I think, the second place in this country that has Dubai. I've stayed in Jarapa, Dubai for several occasions, and it's a really nice constituency. So good morning to you, and of course to my MPP faithfuls who are glued to their set watching us. 1 year on, I remember during the election, I was, because I'm from Kwadaso in the Ashanti region, that's where I've been voting.
Right.
And I was just monitoring the trend. By 3 o'clock, looking at the turnout, it was clear to me that we are in for a huge battle. But everything happens for a reason. We've done self-introspection, we've done retrospection, we've reflected on the issues that resulted in our defeat. And the party has invested a lot in research to try and understand the reasons that led to that defeat. And I believe that with the people and the caliber of persons that we have, the hopeful young people in our party, we are working towards getting the trust of the people again.
Right.
It's been a year on, my brother. I'm thankful to God for the life and the gift of tenacity and perseverance to endure under this tyranny of government by John Mahama. Joshua, this is a government that ride or benefited from smear campaign. People were saying all sort of stuff on the media airwaves. Nobody attacked them. They used vulgar words. Some people clandestinely attacking people in authority in this country. And it benefited them in a way to come into power. So 1 year on, well done to John Mahama. In some aspect, as my brother said, stabilizing the CD, I'll give it to them.
Right.
But I want to caution Ghanaians that this is the same John Mahama of the NDC, part 2. So an Englishman will say it's a chip from the old block. This is the main man or the same man that took over in 2012. He's not changed. From the way he's doing his things, it's typical NDC. They gives you all the best slogans. They hype the hope of the young people, they promise a champagne party and deliver a doka party. So I'm saying this based on this record. You see, he's the same man that promised 280 policies in 2012. You remember in the BKK, they used in the BKK to hoodwink the youth. 280 policies. At the end of 4 years, he only delivered 77. So if you are marking in terms of percentage, he actually delivered 28% of his marking scheme. So I'm really surprised that my dear Honorable will sit here just under 12 months giving a Bible sermon as if we've not seen John Mahama before. He said the same John Mahama, without global pandemic, without the supply chain disruption that happened between 2020 and 2022, still managed to subject Ghana to a woeful 75% inflation rate and an unprecedented 248% increase in our debt stock. This is the same man. You know, and I said that they are good in sloganeerism. Do you recall Hope City? A $10 billion promise, made a whole lot of noise about it, promised the young people. And until recently, that I got to know that even the hope was not the literal hope. It actually meant home, opportunities, people, and environment. So they are masters in carving these slogans. But at the end of the day, what did they produce? We have no Hope City. He promised Ghanaians 10 million jobs as an enterprise development fund to support young people, as they are doing now, promising Moniyo, promising Ejumara, promising Akukon Kitinkiti. So we've seen all this before.
Right.
It's easy to talk. 1 year in, can Honorable tell me one particular policy that the people are benefiting from? You say we are doing this, we are doing this. They still believe that they are still in the campaign zone.
So you don't believe that President John Dramani Mahama has learned his mistakes, because it was one of the things he campaigned on, that I've been president before. I know how it happens. And so if you give me the nod, I will right the wrongs and put things in better shape.
I do not believe so, because his first test case was when nobody put a gun to his head, but he offered a social contract with the people that if you elect me, in my first 120 days, I will deliver 18 key policies. Nobody put a gun to his head. Even the 120 days, he failed. There are 6 of these key points of 120 days social contract with the people that he has not been able to deliver. So I am just saying that from his past, we know he's failed before. And Ghanaian people, obviously, I will not say that the MPP ticked all the boxes. Okay. We wouldn't be where we are if we ticked all the boxes. So they believed in NDC. NDC came to power. And it's interesting. They use all sort of slogans and all sort of hypersensitive to touch the emotions of the people. And I think it's a very smart way. And sometimes some of their now current ministers even use Kenke to do politics. And it's interesting that actually in their manifesto, page 37, there's a guy holding a Kenke ball saying that Akufo-Addo, Kenke time is 5 cedis. And today, that same person, I think we should locate him and ask him whether the Kenke politics has been beneficial to him. This man, this honorable just talked about that President Mahama has delivered the leanest government with respect to appointing ministers.
60 ministers, yes.
It's good on paper. But in reality, it's a Kosciuszko government.
How so?
It is so because, you see, you give the head and the legs very tiny numbers for people to see that, on the periphery is 60, but it's bloated. Because, mind you, the reason why Ghanaians were complaining about Akufo-Addo's first term appointees was that we had 125 ministers, okay? And people subject them to the financial implications or compensations that comes with it. Okay, so even Akufo-Addo's highest expenditure with regards to these was 326 million. So, I mean, it's common proportionality that if I had, let's say, by the time Akufo-Addo left office, we had over 88 ministers, right? We spent an amount of 326 million. You are promising and you have delivered less than 60 ministers. But how much are you spending? Your first year, you spent 2.8 billion Ghana cedis, as against comparative to Akufo-Addo's 326. And this time, you've even increased it, getting to 3.2 billion Ghana cedis. So when we say that it is peripherally skeletal, but it is actually loaded in the belly area. That is what I meant by Koscielny.
Right. So the argument is that regardless of the number, the expenditure
is huge.
It's huge.
It's unprecedented. Okay. And that is how come people are really worried. Especially, he is saying that there's not been any scandal in the public sector against some of his appointees. And it's a worrying trend. You know, over the weekend, we were watching one of your sister TV stations, and there's this revelation. I've been thinking, because people who are very objective in the media spaces are questioning why all of a sudden the people who were very vocal during the Akufo-Addo's term have become mute. And there's this revelation that the NDC is trying. I don't know whether you are in the pipeline to be appointed. It has been the modus operandi of the NDC to just shush people who are outspoken. So there's this revelation that we have some core key media people, influential people, including representation from the Supreme Court, from OSP, from all sort of influential groups, including CSOs, that the government has clandestinely apportioned or given them some duties to work. So in a way, we don't know whether they are paying them, but it's a threat to democracy, because every person who is going to stand up to you to criticize you constructively, you find a way to find a job or a tax for him. You are telling those people to shush, because invariably they are working for you. And this is a shocking revelation that I need all of you to speak. There are a lot of things happening. Galamsey issues is on rocketed. Young people who are supposed to be in work, you promise equity and inclusiveness in nation building. Your first stroke of pen was to sign and dismiss over 36,000 young people. The same people you promised 133 shifts. You know, these people are perfect. And I continue to reiterate that I've not seen a political party under the sun who has mastered in slogan than the NDC. Because I was realized that the 24-hour economy that they promised,
yes,
underneath the 24-hour economy, they have something they call job for you agenda. And what did you promise people? You have your current Minister of Communication telling us that there will be watches sellers 24 hours. You had your party national chairman telling Ghanaians that you are drafting a policy that will get to see that electricity tariffs, if you use electricity at night, is going to be comparatively cheaper to if you use during the day. Right. And therefore, he cited an example that a welder will wish to work 24 hours so that you run shift. You promise us, even in public sectors, that you are going to run 133, meaning that one job, there are going to be 3 people, where one will come from 7 to 2, then the person will come from 2 to 7, and then 7 to whatever they came up with these slogans. Your first stroke of pen was to dismiss 36,000 young people. Because they said that people were not appropriately engaged. And it has been proven that it is false. It has been proven. My brother, I have friends, right, who had been in the public sector from 2019. Let's forget about those who were just employed, let's say in 2024. We have district directors, district managers, all being expelled just because people believe they are MPP people. I mean, and in your manifesto, you boldly say that you are coming to rescue and reset with the promise that you are going to rule or govern a nation called Ghana based on the tenets of inclusivity and equity. And your first stroke of pen is to sack 36,000 Ghanaians. There's one video which circulated on social media where the then candidate for the NDC, now President Mahama, met a group of nurses, student nurses, and the first promise that he gave was that I promise you an automatic posting when you vote for me. The nurses, the young people believed in such a president and voted overwhelmingly for him. Now we are being told that even those who have worked for months, their due remuneration,
yes,
will not be given to them. And in fact, with the hope that maybe next year they were going to get paid, have been told point blank that they will not be receiving anything because the Minister of Finance did not factor them through. So you come with flimsy excuses to punish the very people who have trusted you to vote for you. And you come and sit here and give us Bible sermons as if you are still on campaign grounds. You say that the President John Mahama has distinguished himself in terms of corruption.
Yes. Served stern notice to appointees that he would not shield them.
You know, as part of his 120-day contract with Ghanaians, he promised a comprehensive code of conduct. You know, one thing that the NDC is doing is that knowing that all the promises that they've made, they will not be able to achieve. So what they do is that when you point to one policy that they failed to do, they will tell you, oh, but we've inaugurated it. 24-hour economy. I believe that my senior brother here will tell me that they've inaugurated. The code of conduct, do you have one? The code of conduct, but it's been launched in Jubilee House with their appointees. Tell me one person who has that code of conduct.
Or perhaps the appointees have it.
They don't.
Who said they don't?
They don't.
And you know that for a fact.
Oh, you should show me one.
No.
If you do have it, you are on your platform.
It's not an appointee.
All of them were given. Let me tell you.
We are running.
They were all given.
You can rebut when I'm done. I am telling you that on corruption, your first action on corruption was to set your own people who have been criminally charged in this country for mismanaging the funds allocated to them. I'm not a lawyer, but I know in English, nolli prosequi means that the Attorney General, which the country has invested all the power to prosecute people who mismanage our funds, to bring them to book, have said, because they are NDC people, they are my loyalists, I have no issues to prosecute these people. And you sit here to tell me that President Mahama will punish people who mismanage the funds of this country. We've been seeing a lot of these common funds going to the municipalities. I've been privileged enough to be moving around the country with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia because of our MPP primaries. And I see the belligerent stance, the extravagant way of living by these DCs. And Ghana, the reason why, upon reflection, I believe that NDC is towing a very dangerous path, is that Ghanaians are quiet. And I've learned something from it personally. During the 2024 elections, I moved to every constituency in this country. At places where we expected people to cheer us on, you see them quiet. And I was wondering, is it the case that they believe in our message? Is it the case that they are satisfied with our performance that has resulted in them being quiet? Or in the Ghanaian thinking, he is waiting to show you small pepper? And that is what is happening. So how can the government come and say that we've done well because there's not been any corruption or scandal? Meanwhile, there's an albatross hanging your neck. 292 million for sanitary pads. Oh. And people have done the maths. If they compare the sanitary pads our wards, our female wards in these second cycle institutions are using compared to those in the market, quality, in terms of quality, it falls short. In terms of pricing, what they are quoting, just opposed to what is in the market or what they've given us, it doesn't match. So you sit here and say, and whitewash this John Mahama government. Apart from the promises that you failed woefully, the other thing that they wing the youth is that they are going to train 1 million young Ghanaians in coding.
Yes, the Coders project.
Do you know what they've done? They've allocated 100 million Ghana cedis. So when you hear 100 million, you think that the government is doing something great. My brother, 100 million divided by 1 million young people. It means that 100 cedi per one person. Tell me in this country, the most philanthropical person in the world, let's use Elon Musk, Bill Gates, can he train you to become a well-certified coder with 100 Ghana cedis? Let's be sincere to ourselves. It's not all about the flattery stuffs that you come here to tell us. You've been appointing people who are supposed to be checkmating you, to giving them clandestine assignments so that it will take the attention off the ball. That's what the NDC is doing.
So you're accusing the NDC of buying the silence of people who are supposed to keep the government on its
Absolutely.
toes, including journalists.
Absolutely. How many journalists have been appointed by this government?
Tell me.
There are a lot. There are a lot, and you know it. That is why you have this good smile on your face. You see, what they are doing is dangerous with regards to our fragile democracy. That you are buying people who will stand up to you. Those people who were vocal during our time, you set up committees and give them assignments, knowing very well that you are going to do nothing with the assignment given.
But you've not mentioned any names as it stands now. Because could it not be the case that, well, the people who were vocal then are not vocal now because there's nothing to be vocal about?
No, there's nothing. They're actually defending. Oh, this guy, your darling boy, that lawyer, who always wearing a hat. What was your darling boy? He's normally on your sister station. It's not your sister station, yes, but TV3.
Which darling boy of the NDC?
Oh, the one that the OSP just started.
Oh, lawyer Martin Pewu.
Yes.
You call him a darling boy of the NDC?
Oh. You see, your own colleague, Paul Adomotri, was mishandled by OSP. This current government, in fact, let me go back to Global Peace Index. Have you seen the ratings of Ghana in 2025? It's the worst in 8 years. It's because the government is using state agencies, security agencies, to oppress people having decent or dissenting views. The OSP arrested Paul Adomotri, gave a bail surety of a landed property. That darling boy said that Paul Adomotri came and said, I do not have these things that you are requesting for me to get my bail. He sat on TV and said that Paul Adomotri is lying. When they arrested him, and per the conversation, they decided to arrest him and give him bail. They asked him, same as they asked Paul Adomotri. Nobody in Parliament, with regard to the majority side, said a word, because it was Paul Adomotri who is seen as always being a pain in the neck or a pain in the backside of the NDC. So nobody saw the wrong aspect of using bill sureties as a weapon to oppress people with dissenting views.
Right.
Martin Pebu was asked the same thing to bring a landed property. In his own words, he said it's a joke. Now, what is happening in Parliament? From the Speaker to the majority, they are saying that because of this one act touching their darling boy, we should scrap OSP. This is the only time in our country where young people go on TikTok to express their grievance towards this government. 5 a.m. Rambo-style attack in their homes, snatched from their children and their wife, to be handed massive bail conditions.
Right.
You know, held in captivity for more than 7 days in this country. I was in Volta region and I saw one of the ladies, Yaya. Very sad. Just because he's been on TikTok to say things that she's not happy with. Wow. Did it ever happen in the Kufuor's government? So you sit here and whitewash the president as if everything is well. My brother, security-wise, is getting worse. In terms of our natural security or minerals in protection, you failed woefully. Did you read the Pure F report? We have reached a stage where even when you eat palava sauce, you are actually accumulating dangerous, poisonous chemicals into your system. Arsenic level in this country, around Ashanti region, especially Konongo, is 4,000 above the normal level. And you sit here to say this and this and that.
I'm sure Cletus has a lot to respond to, but then we'll take a breather, a quick one here. When we return, we'll be hearing from the Drapa MP Cletus, also speaking to these matters. The breakfast review segment of GA Today. In studio this morning, Richard Jemfe is a member of the NPP's communications team, and also Cletus Seydou Dapila, who is member of parliament for Jirapa. Before we went on that break, Richard had raised some fundamental concerns. And so briefly, because we need to move to other topics as well. So Cletus, I'll give you some little time to respond to some of the
Joshua, sometimes when we talk as politicians, you see, at times I feel ashamed the way we talk as politicians. We talk as if, you see, the MPP has their record. We have our record. President Mahama has his record. President Mahama and Bawumia were put on the ballot box. Ghanaians chose President Mahama. Ghanaians know them. They know who is telling the truth. You understand? If we want to discuss the leadership or their flag bearer or what they did, how they fared, remember, their flag bearer, whom he is busily campaigning for, you know his role in the current government. Even in their flag bearership campaign, the other opponents, they are hitting him hard, how he failed to manage the city. All the economic lectures he gave before they won power. No,
President Nana Jane
I'm coming.
Managing the city in this country.
I'm coming. Yes, he's part.
The one managing the city.
He's part of government. But you name them. You see, Joshua, listen.
What are you talking about?
Listen. You name your economic. I'm coming. Joshua, you name your economic management team. No. I am.
Why are you now swaying into flag bearership?
Please, you are the one talking about President Mahama, and I want to tell you that the person you are busily campaigning for was named as head of economic management team. You name your team. President Akufo-Addo named his team, and they ask us, where is our team?
So when Ghanaians,
you understand? So you listen, Jamie, you be patient. Be patient. Richard, you be patient. Quickly. What I'm saying is that you name your economic management team and said Dr. Bawumia was ahead. Did we do that?
Yes,
you did that.
Atamils did that.
You did. I'm saying we are not talking of Atamils. So you did that, and he failed. He failed. Today, all your other opponents, the flag bearer opponents, they are all hitting at you people. They are hitting at him. His inability.
248% debt.
You understand? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You took this country.
Right. Richard, let's have this.
He doesn't want me to talk. You be patient. Listen. You keep on talking. You said some 33,000 people were sacked. Mention them. Mention them. Mention them. Joshua, I expected you to ask him which organization. Mention them. Mention them. Mention them.
That was your first
I said mention them. Mention them.
That was your first stroke of paper.
Joshua, I want the organization. He should mention. Not the names. He should mention the organization.
We saw the letters.
So that's what. So he mentioned. Let him mention.
What are you talking about?
Let him mention.
Even in the police.
Joshua, let him mention.
What's the point, Richard?
In the police service.
Which police service? Is not true.
What are you
see the problem?
Richard,
that's why I know he will lie. Listen, Joshua, I know he will lie. Nobody withdrew anybody. All those recruits that were done under a very rash condition to let them go to police training school in the elections. Joshua, remember, even after elections, people were sent for training. We never sacked them. The records are there. I am telling you, nobody sacked anybody. What are you talking about? They passed out recently. Why? The police.
Is that Richard, hold on, please. Is that specific to the police service?
He just mentioned the police, and I'm exposing him on that. I said nobody was withdrawn from the training school. You did that. You did that in 2017 when you came to power. Let me tell you the history.
The other agencies
Joshua,
as well?
Let me even take my brother back to the history of sacking people.
Ministries.
When MPP, let me take him back to history.
Right.
President Rawlings is the first president in the Fourth Republic. We left office in 2021. They came in 2021 and started this sacking of people and asking people to proceed on leave. They started in 2001. 2001 when Kufuor came. When Atamils came, Atamils said, no, let's stop this thing. He even had problems with the founder. May his soul rest in all of them, their soul rest in peace. Atamils said, no, let's stop this thing. All Ghanaians are Ghanaians. The former president, his mentor, Rawlings, didn't spare him. Then Akufo-Addo came 2017. You came and repeated it. All the people, all the agencies that, look, you don't recruit after election, within transition period, you were recruiting people. Who does that? You lost election and you are recruiting people.
It's a lie.
What is a lie?
It's a lie.
What is a lie?
It's a lie.
What
we
is
all
a lie?
believe that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. What I want to say is that. Joshua,
I'll give you
what
time
I'm
to
saying is
respond
that
to this.
if you ask him to mention those agencies that he's mentioning, he just mentions security, and I'm telling you, it's not true.
He mentioned the ministries as
Minerals
well.
Commission. People are watching you.
I'm not saying
issues.
Let me tell
you see what?
If
you try to
let me finish.
If you try to trivialize this thing,
let me finish.
It will come back to bite you.
Nobody will come back to bite. I said that you are the pace setters when it comes to doing that. You understand? Please let me talk. Let me talk. Joshua, let him take his time and let me talk. What I want to say is that you see, when it comes to sacking of people, when Osofo Mafu came for vetting as senior minister, let me show you the video what he said. Even on Parliament's committee, appointment committee, he categorically stated that they will sack the NDC people, that they will remove them and bring their people. I have the video here.
So it's a question. Then
you understand?
Right.
No, so don't talk about it. When it comes to that,
saying that is not true?
When you want to talk about these things, you should be guided and know that you are the pace setters.
But then yes, indeed, we had some people who had to
what I'm
go
saying
because
is that I am saying
the claim was that they were not recruited during the period within which that should have happened. Yes.
You were told categorically during transition that don't recruit. So why were you recruiting when you knew you lost power?
Okay.
You understand? That aside, let me tell my brother, you people claim that you recruited 15,000 nurses in this country and issue a clearance. And said the clearance had expired. I have it here. I'll share with you, Joshua, so that you let my brother read. You claim you were recruiting nurses, health workers in this country, and you issue clearance, and you never paid them. And the clearance you issue, you claim the clearance was expired. I have it here. I'll share with him to see. Right. You issue a clearance and said the clearance is expired. And you left office just few months, then you are inciting people against us that we are supposed to pay them. Who is supposed to pay what? You issue a dead clearance. You understand? Look, Joshua, our friends in MPP, they should know that it's about time. The Ghanaian voter, when I started, I said the Ghanaian voter is now discerning.
Right.
If you want to sit here and propagate lies, propaganda, and all of that, that can never win you elections. Okay. We were in this country. Manasseh Azure, he critiqued President Mahama. Seriously, you people benefited from it. Anas Armiyao, you people said when you come, you were going to use the Anas style. When you came, Anas ran for his life. Ahmed Swale had to he has to take asylum. He ran away from this country. Sorry, Manasseh Azure. Manasseh ran away. Today you are talking about the Manasseh General. He ran for his life.
I know Manasseh will
Where is Ahmed Swale? Where is you are talking of Jana people? Where is Ahmed Swale?
Okay.
Where is Ahmed Swale? Bongo ideas. You molested people. I don't, please. If you know me, I don't like politics of equalization, but that is where my brother is going.
Okay.
Don't go there at all. Your records are terrible.
Okay.
If we want to, I am saying that.
Yes.
If you compare,
I
said
your problem is you will not let people also speak.
No, I'm not. I have my floor. You don't have the floor. Why? You want to take my time and speak?
All right.
I have the floor. What I'm saying is that
look,
all the economic indicators
under
your watch compared to ours, it's a shame. It's a shame that you claim you have an economic wizard, and yet that was your record. We haven't said that. We haven't named any economic management team anywhere. You mentioned them. Professor Jamboafo, Alan Chiramanten. You named them. Dr. Mahamudu Baumia. You mentioned them. We never mentioned anybody to you as our economic management team. Yet we are performing wonders. That is the point that I want to make.
Well, let me introduce into the conversation Paul Nana Kwabna Abrampa Mensah. He is team lead for security, sector governance, and local and urban governance at CDD Ghana. Mr. Abrampa, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Let me say good morning.
You entered in the heat.
I was asking myself why I even came.
Friendly fire in the morning. Yes. So we're just assessing 1 year of the Mahama administration after the elections. I mean, yes, we saw what happened last year. A year on, we're just looking at how things have panned out. But our people seem not to agree. The NDC believes they've done extremely well. The NPP says, well, we have seen the macro indicators. They look good, but then there are underlying factors that we need to consider as well that we are not really paying attention to.
Joshua, I thought I was going to have my...
I will give you a bye, but let me just quickly pick the initial...
Joshua, let me say very good morning to our listeners and also our viewers. I also apologize for coming in late. I miscalculated the traffic.
Yeah.
It eluded me that December traffic is always high. Yeah. So let me say, one thing as Africa, as Ghana, we don't do well is actually post-election accountability. Which we don't do at all. In the US, they have something they call President Barometer. So they did that well with Obama when he started. So if you could see, they had a meter that they were measuring the promises that each president that will come to power promises to do and how far the president went. So they start from your feet and they measure as you go along. So when you get to the middle part of your body, that means that you have an average. When you go past that, it means that your officers have gone well. So for us to come in as researchers, probably we'll just pick what did President Mahama and the government say they will do in their first 3 months in the 1 year.
Yes.
Because you can't judge anybody in a vacuum. You assess somebody based on what he's done. And one of the things that people have been saying is trying to cut costs. That was a good and wide message that the NDC in opposition promised. And the one aspect of cutting the cost was lean government, that they were going to slash the number of appointment ministers and their deputies, which, of course, when I was doing the scan this morning on the assessments, below the 60% they promised within that. Then somebody will ask you, what was the budget for the wider governments and the lean governments? Yes. Are they comparable? Have they actually reduced in size? That's where the problem probably, I think, the discussion can also hint as what happened. The president also, as far as relieving Ghanaians from hardships in the country, promised to abolish some of the taxes that they had been imposed on Ghanaians. And e-levy was mentioned several, which of course did not waste time at all to abolish the e-levy. But then somebody will ask you, what is the petroleum levy? And other levies that have come up. So that's counter. So all in all, I think the 24-hour economy, you see the committee that has been formed.
Yes.
And you also read the budget. A whole provision has been made in the budget to do that. While we can't go in to measure whether it is or not, it's a long-term promise that the president made, just like the one district, one factory. It doesn't mature within 6 months. So it will be unfair to the government if you say we are going to use that promise to assess within 1 year. It will very much be unfair. But the good thing is that you will see indications of attempts to actualize it. So we can only do that measurement from second and the third year to see whether the structure set to implement the agenda has actually come forth. So it will be unfair to do that. Review of education policy, the free SHS set to make. So there were a lot, but I can't go to one by one. What I can say on average, the president has made good some of the promises it made. Those that has actually started the economic governance consultation. It's happened, and a report has been submitted to the president. So I just want to say that the first year is setting the structures. Okay. The government has composed. Some of the initial 3-4 months have been done. The continuation of abandoned projects. A committee has been set to review and see how it goes. The big push is underway. So we can say the structures have been set for this year. However, you also realize that we've not made good of payments to contractors and most of these things that we are expecting. Will that counteract the achievement that we expect from these structures that have been set for this year? We pray that it doesn't go that way. One thing that we said was the CD stabilization, and you are aware that it nearly came to even 9. Yes. Came to 10 point something. But we also acknowledge the Christmas purchases and the demands, which of course will put pressure on the city for a while. So it is going to a marginal increase. This is also a bit acceptable. So if you ask me, I would say the president has put in place the structures. We pray as Ghanaians that the structures have been established for this year bear the necessary fruits so that what is expected per Chapter 6 of the 1920 Constitution relieving Ghanaians from hardships is materialized from next year. So we can do a fair assessment from the second year going, where we expect the structures established to bear fruit.
Right. And so for now, it would be unfair if we are judging strictly by the first year, which in fact has not even ended.
Good.
Per the research perspective.
I was following the discussion on the Galamsey fights, and I tried to compare from 3 administrations to see the extent of the commitments, the extent of the resources put in place. Probably you may have your difficulty as to the continuous modification and changing of structures and strategies. But of course, each of the administration made attempts to fight the menace. So the NIMO is a good attempt to see that the president has also initiated. Probably we may have our argument as to why the constant changing of strategies and bringing in new faces, rather than using some of the old strategies for the people who have gotten used to the system, the environment, to be able to continue the fight they were making. But of course, there's an attempt, and you are aware of the challenges that the people have. So I say the Galamsey fight demands a whole discussion to be able to see whether it's the strategy that's failing or whether it's the system itself that's fighting against the strategy. So, but of course, structures have been put in place, and we expect the structure to bear fruit. So, for the first 3-6 months, with the actual commitment made in the first year, being the lean government, being reviewed the economic policy, all these things have happened. Reports have been submitted. What next? That's what we can assess in the coming years.
Okay. So we'll be getting to the what next, but then, Richard, I'll give you the final one, just to be fair, on this one, because we need to talk about other things
that's
as well.
true. I just want to make a point that during Akufo-Addo's government, it's untrue that Manasseh Azuri was chased out. We all know he's pursuing academic in pursuit in the US. And so he wasn't chased out. And also, it is really worrying that we gaslight the plight of the people in the sense that I, personally, know up to 20 young people, duly qualified, went through the system in various state agencies who are currently sat at home just because they were recruited under the MPP government. I don't want to shout because it is really critical. People were the bread winners in their families. Just because they were recruited under the past regime, they are currently at home unemployed. And no amount of flattery words, no amount of aggression will erase reality. And people are feeling the pinch due to these actions. And I'm saying that as an honorable member of Ghana's parliament, you have to have some sort of empathy within you to understand and appreciate the struggles that these people are going through. Some of your own NDC members go and sit on TV, and these things have really touched them too. One of your executives was an Asempa saying that NDC organizer in one of the constituencies' wife had been sacked because the person was recruited under the past government. So when people are saying this, we have to really take a critical look and make sure that you are held to account by your own promise on your chapter in your manifesto.
Right, but even on
inclusivity.
Even on that same matter, we also know that, for instance, clearance was given, I remember, in 2024, that by September, recruitment should have been done. And then the clearance given expires on the 31st of December 2024. And so in 2025, for instance, especially when it comes to the health sector workers, those clearances would not amount to them being employed.
Should that justify these people being sacked? What is the point of having a continuous government?
But that's failure.
You've trained them.
But that's failure on the part of the previous administration to adhere to the letter and the dictates.
Is it not the failure of the past government? That is why I speak from opposition point of view.
Yes.
Did you not promise that you are going to correct our failures and our wrongs? Is that not why Ghanaians put the faith in you to elect you to come to power?
Very well.
So if we failed to mechanize these people that the country has invested in them, to train them, we paid their allowances, we paid a lot, we invested in them to become these professionals that they are today. And because of bureaucracy, a lack of bureaucracy or a bureaucracy constraint on the part of the MPP government, you have the right and infantry to say, because of MPP's inadequate plan for you to be mechanized, I am relieving you of work. What country are we in?
Isn't that following the system?
No, it's not. You are not following the system.
Okay.
What kind of rationale is this?
Unfortunately,
so
yes.
We
need to move on to some other ones.
He should allow the neutrals, the PNC and other people to talk. He has no moral justice.
We don't.
I
do not believe.
He just failed.
Gentlemen, thank you. Gentlemen, thank
He
you.
failed when he
Richard,
had the opportunity
thank you. But let's talk about the tariff
this country. He failed.
Because
so he should let PNC and others talk. You don't have
Richard,
moral
we are running out of time. You're running out of time to talk about other issues because there's so much happening as well. And now TUC is kicking against the new tariffs that have been announced, saying they'll take effect in January. The Food and Beverages Association have seen their statement as well, reacting to this. And TUC, for instance, believes that this is just robbing Peter to pay Paul. So yes, you gave them an increase in salaries, and they were excited about it. But this will wipe out the supposed gain they were supposed to get from there. Cletus, let me start with you briefly on this.
Well, power, if we look at the power sector, we haven't invested in the power sector for some years. Most of the challenges, you remember, prior to the elections, there were a lot of power outages and all of that. Before then, when we assumed power, then it started. The Ministry of Energy, for that matter, the Minister for Energy, had to do a lot of infrastructure changes or retooling of infrastructure. Most of the cables needed to be changed. Transformers needed to be changed and all of that, and that wasn't done. So when we came, we invested so much in the energy sector that has kept the power on. You understand? You see, we have to be able to pay realistic power so that we can get, power supply without being interrupted. So for me, TUCs, their comment is welcome, but they should also look at the manner in which we've also been able to manage a lot of the things in this country, particularly price stability, fuel, and all of that, you understand. All I just want to say is that it is not the wish of anybody to come to power and increase, tariffs. It is not. But the situation where we found ourselves, I have had engagement with the energy minister and other stakeholders where we have gotten to. If we do not do it that way, I tell you that we won't even have power. So it is better under the current circumstances. Let's all try to pay something to be able to keep the power on. Okay. So for me, I'm just appealing to the Ghanaian that where we have gotten to, it is better for us to pay realistic power so that we can have realistic power supply. If we don't pay, we wouldn't be able to have realistic power. Power will evade us. We can't even fuel the machines and all of that. So it's an appeal to Ghana. It's not palatable. I don't like it that tariffs should be increased. But under the circumstances, we have no option.
Right. So, Richard, under the circumstances, we need to pay realistic tariffs to be able to keep the lights going on. That's the appeal from the NDC. That's okay, right?
I'm wondering when NDC realized this. It's interesting, but it's politics. You see, we need to be truthful to the people. We need to run this country devoid of deception. You know, 3 weeks ago, you met the tripartite committee. You, the government, the employers, and the organized labor. They were pushing for a certain figure in terms of increment.
Yes.
You insisted that this is what government can do, in all honesty, in quotes. So they agreed and accepted 9% against their sole wish.
Mm-hmm. They were looking for, I think, 22%.
22%, that's right. So you didn't even give them half. You remember Akufo-Addo gave about 25%, but people were still angry that it wasn't enough. That is just, by the way, it's past and gone. You've given 9%. Few weeks down the line, you've slapped them with cumulatively 24% on utility bills. So it's like you give something with the left hand and grab it off the poor Ghanaian on the right hand side. Compare it to your presidential staffers. You've actually increased your compensation by nearly over 40%. So the poor workers should struggle, but the political elite should enjoy. I mean, I don't think it is fair. And let's put it on record that in terms of increment, when it comes to utility, especially electricity, President John Mahama has an enviable historic position that no president will wish to get. He is the only president who has increased electricity tariff by 90.3% under the Fourth Republic. So it is no news that he is doing this. In fact, the only one that comes close was his own boss, our late Professor Mensah, who increased the electricity tariff in 2010 by 89%. And let's put it on record that under Akufo-Addo, that my senior brother, his honorable brother, just lamented and trying to blackwash. 2017, there were no increment. 2018, we increased it by 17.5. 2020, 2021, 2022, 0 increment, whilst we were under an IMF program.
And that's why I want to ask you if this is the doing of President Mahama, because I've heard the finance minister, he says, listen, this is not government imposing hardship on the people. It's part of the IMF conditions.
That is why I said, when did they realize that under the terms, there's a quarterly adjustment?
Yes.
And in my opening remark, I said we have to be honest in governance, devoid of deception. You knew all this, but you stood on campaign platform and told Ghanaians that you will make sure that these will not happen. You are going to reduce electricity, because when you increase the cost of energy, it affects everything. And you are a government promising 24-hour economy. Solely common denominator for 24-hour economy is electricity. Because without power, how can you generate anything meaningful in this country?
Right.
Okay, so you knew all these systematic processes, yet you promised the Ghanaians that you were going to reduce these things. And it's unprecedented that within a year, somebody who is promising to alleviate the burdens of the people, first quarter 14.75%, second quarter 2.45%, third quarter 1.14%, and the fourth quarter 9%. So accumulatively, it's 28.14%. Why?
Right.
You promised to scrap 6 levies. You call them nyama nyama. I'm just quoting what Honorable said. Honorable collected nyama nyama taxes. Well done, NDC. Mm-hmm. But you've slapped up with 8. So I keep on saying that we should run this country with honesty and transparency, not through deception, because it will come back to bite you. Okay. You made your point that the Ghanaian is now discerning, and I believe so. Ghanaians are watching the NDC.
Okay, well, let's bring Paul into the conversation now. So the tariffs, you're told, embedded in the IMF conditionalities, there is very little we can do about it. So we would have to, and Cletus is appealing to the public that yes, it's not palatable, but just to keep the lights on, we need to burden share.
Thank you, Joshua. We, the consumers, we, the citizens, look up for one thing: quality services, and also affordable services. So services that we can continuously enjoy and within our means. That's the defining principle. We will continue to enjoy the services, but within our means. So that's what we do. I'm always not against tariff increases because especially some of us who schooled outside, you realize that even your introduce what they give you, they tax you. So taxes are some things that we used to develop. But what type of services am I getting? Right. How are the tariffs spread? How are we able to purge the leakages, the malfeasance, the rot in the system so that we tax people genuinely for what they need to be taxed? I agree with Honorable that if we don't uphold the taxes, we don't pay realistic prices, we're going to go off, and nobody will be interested to go back to the power outages as we used to have some years ago, and therefore be prepared to pay. But we are also aware of the rot in the system that we need to fight. You go to some places and you see people using electricity without payments. People are doing illegal connections. People are, even some of them who are using it to produce services in their homes, dodge tariff payment. How do we peg the system in such a way that those leakages are blocked and we maximize the revenue such that we can use the revenue itself to pay for some of these investments that Honorable is talking about? That's always my concern. Otherwise, there's no use for you to tax me if I pay my parts, but about 30-40% of the people are not paying, yet they are using the services. So I talk of purging the system to save us with the increases that few people are usually taxed to pay. Otherwise, I don't have any issues of tariffs at all. Coming back to this system of setting up salaries increases per year. You know, this issue was a worry to us as a country. That's how we came back for the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Try to restructure salaries so that it doesn't depend on somebody's behest to set up. Those days, one of the discussions some of the people in the economic field proposed was that we should do contingent discussions. Whilst we are discussing our salary adjustments, we should also discuss possible of increases of services. We should do that alongside so that we don't go back any time there are salary adjustments. The following year, after some time, we also have utility adjustments. But then we have agreed on a certain principle that coming back becomes difficult. Can we go back to some of these discussions that people propose when we're establishing the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission so that we do side by side, so that we have a commitment that if the representative of the labor is accepting 5%, he is accepting with the consent of the government that we are not going to impose any further, because the discussions are based on economic realities. What we are enjoying today, what we are paying today. So if I accept that based on this reality, then tomorrow I see something higher, it means you deceived me to accepting what otherwise I wouldn't have accepted if I knew.
That's why TUC is crying.
Yeah.
Because they say it erodes.
But the TUC have been crying over and over almost every year. Why they can't have a contingent holistic structure of discussion, as people proposed years back, that you don't come and discuss your salary, why you don't know what lies ahead of you. So you need to factor in some of these things, and even if you are accepting, you must accept a clause. It's on paper that we are accepting this because the government is suffering to pay us, and therefore we accept the 9%. But the government also agrees that any further increase of utility services is going to downplay the acceptance. So, not dishonesty,
because they were not.
open to all the possible implications that will come thereafter.
I get
That
you.
is why the General Secretary for TVC is crying out. Because had they knew this, I believe that they wouldn't have agreed the 9%
Well,
increment.
So, Joshua, I also say that we've not set our bargaining structures.
Absolutely,
We've
I
not
agree.
set our
I agree.
systems of bargaining into that. As I said, this came up during the establishment of the Fair Wages. That's let's have a condition of bargaining. If we are accepting to bargain on the adjustments, let's bargain based on conditionalities. So if we are bargaining, then the government is going to tell us that, well, based on the realities on the ground, utility tariffs may be adjusted so that we have that condition. So, Mr. President, if it's going to be adjusted, then the 5% you are giving us cannot meet our base pay, cannot meet our living, and therefore, can we balance the two? We can agree that, okay, if you are going to go to 24, even though you cannot give us the 22, can you give us 15, 16, so that we will meet halfway? Compromises will come in. But TUC have always been bargaining earlier than what they expect. Okay. And since those years, they've not had any intent of establishing bargaining strategy plan, agreed with the government, so that they bargain within a framework and see what happens. So for me, yes, I get their plea, but I think going forward, they will need to have a certain principle and guidelines, commitments, and a framework to guide their bargaining so that they bargain on contingency with some clauses.
So we don't come back to
we can't come back because the government has also done its budget.
Yes.
I hope you're getting me. So it becomes a bit difficult for us to go ahead.
Quite interesting.
And don't forget, some of these things also occasion series of strike actions, which we don't expect. You remember some years that university students sat home for close to 2 years and health workers were at home. They also sometimes discuss some of these benefits given them to the benefit of government appointees. So, as my brother was saying, I'm not privy to how much increases have been given to staffers. But if it's true that you are giving me 9%,
giving staffers
40%, definitely the labor union will get to know and they'll do comparison analysis. And therefore, they will not be content and come and fight. So, equality before the law should also go with equality of economic opportunities.
Absolutely. Well,
my brother, let me. You see, my brother keep on talking about dishonesty. The IMF itself. Did you hear their comments about IMF? In Parliament, they got up, the finance minister, who is at large, the former finance minister, came to Parliament with his deputies and all their economic gurus in Parliament. We won't go to IMF today, we won't go to IMF tomorrow. We have the men. The next morning, the president wrote to the Minister of Finance that he should run with all the energy that he has to IMF. That's them saying dishonesty. These are people, they came to Parliament. The day they all came and argued that we're not going to IMF tomorrow, we won't go to IMF today, they have the men. The next morning, we saw a letter from the presidency directing the finance minister that he should run with the energy that he has to IMF because the economy was in ICU. You understand? They know. You see, I have said it. If you are walking and you hit your leg and fall down, be mindful of where you hit your leg. Our opponents just think that they should be opposing for opposing sake. Look, they just left office. Ghanaians never forget. And they know what they did when they were in power. It's not for nothing that you lost the election by over 1.7 million votes difference. It's not for nothing. The Ghanaians saw what you did. They compare. They look at fuel prices at the time. They look at the stability of the economy, the CD, prices of goods and services. They consider all these things before they voted. They look at the impunity, the arrogance of power that was in the system. Ghanaians considered all these things before they voted for President John Dramani Mahama.
Right.
So for anyone to sit here and want to talk like we are doing bad, they were angels and all of that, please, just yesterday you were in power. People saw how you fared. You didn't fare well. You all the economic indicators, like you are saying, you are talking of GDP. GDP, where? We saw GDP at 54% under your watch. You manage with all your best gurus. You brought it to 23.8% before you left power.
The first stint you had it at 75%.
You understand? You brought it to 23
Just 1
points.
year. We are here.
You understand? You understand? So if you did this, if you perform abysmally and they voted you out, you just don't come within few months and come to talk like you are angels. No.
Okay.
People know how you fed.
Absolutely. Well, another issue of worry for me is what we heard yesterday. In the early hours, we heard that, there's been a coup in Benin. Then later on, we're told that, it's been foiled. It was an attempt that was foiled by the loyalists in the armed forces there. And this is becoming one too many for quite a lot of people, especially on the continent, looking at how it's happened in other countries. We've seen some of our neighbors say, you know what, we are no longer part of ECOWAS. We now have ours and all of that. Let me start with you, Richard, on this one. How does all of this sit with you? The attempts at overthrowing democracy, looks like people are fed up. I remember there was an Afrobarometer report that said that a chunk of African youth feel that they prefer military rule to democracy. And that's a worrying trend for me.
It is. It's a really worrying trend if this is the perception of majority of Africans. And when the story broke, I wanted to find out, just like any other person who's interested in geopolitics and security, one thing that thematic thing that continues to come out is that for West Africa in particular, our average age is 18.2 years. And then and that we are also, in terms of fertility rate, above any other continent. And so we have a huge chunk of young people with a lot of expectations. And so when these expectations are not met and they find themselves in hardship, as a direct impact of maybe economic policies and decisions by politicians, they become vulnerable to sweet talks. And I am not that old, but I've heard stories under military regime. Those that are not really palatable to hear. And my late grandmother especially experienced that under Rawlings because she was a trader, and when Rawlings took over, we all know what many entrepreneurs in my region and other southern regions were subjected to these maltreatment because of military coup d'etat. But what is still striking is that these places where the coup has happened, Niger, the average age is 15 years. If you look at the Benin, median age is 19 years. Just to post that to our leaders. I am praying that we should have a common consensus as West African, especially the political part, to come together and ascertain why there's eruptions here and there.
Right.
What I've pointed out, one, got to do with us politicians, the things we say to each other. It creates an impression within the minds of the ordinary person that you are a thief. And it cuts across West Africa in particular. That because that's what we keep doing. I call my brother a thief, he calls me a thief. The independent person sitting there looking at you, all what you are thinking that, look at two thieves fighting, and me, I'm here struggling. So if there's a gun for me to wield, to seize power, what stops me? Because I'm young, I'm energetic, and I'm crying, and I'm starving. So I have to take it. So if these things continue to persist, I think that we as the political class should come together and be very mindful of our utterances. We should have a statecraft. Let's agree that this is Africa, West Africa. This is where we are now. This is where we want to go. The difference between our political leaders and the workforce of the people is this. What are their expectations? We should find ways to mitigate these two, because most of our leaders are from the 70s and the 60s, whereas the chunk force of our sub-region are Gen Zs, and now they are saying alpha. Or beta. So how people appreciate issues is entirely different. And so I'm pleading, because it's just one too many. And me, I'm a former UK military officer. So I understand these things, but I do not see what will push a Western military person to overthrow a government. Because the issues that have raised with a lot of expectants in political policies, economic, job, employment are not there. And you become exasperated that if I go forward, I don't see any hope. If I go back, I don't see any hope. There's a gun wield that I can wield to seize power. Why not?
Right.
You see, the other point got to do with, I call it the independent deficit. So there is this notion that our former colonial powers are having some hands, undertone workings within the sub-region. Because there's this, especially in the Francophone areas, where there's this high explosive resentment towards their former colonial masters. There's this new wave, if you monitor social media, among the youth, that the colonial masters are dining with the political elite, neglecting the real indigenes. And this has, created this power vacuum. So you will see that our counterparts from the East, which is also a superpower, is trying to make a meal out of this and take advantage of this. You can cite Abdoulaye Traore in Burkina Faso. His current dealings with the Russian against his colonial masters, French. So this is going on around our sub-region, and we have to be really, really mindful about. Also, the global competition and external influence, which I've said already, the powers between these mighty powers across the globe, trying to have their influences, especially where there is richer resources for them to benefit them. So we have to be very careful. But the underlying factor is that we as politicians,
the political class,
our utterances must be one that promotes trust, credibility, and efficiency to support.
And let me bring Cletus Dapla, because also Vice Chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament as well. This is where we find ourselves. For some, they say that what is happening in Burkina Faso has become like an example for a lot of people, a lot of nations, and people feel that, if it's happening in Burkina Faso, why not us? Let's also go that way.
Well, thank you very much. I think that we have to understand what democracy means. You see, it's in democracy that dictators are identified. All the dictators that we have had, including Hitler, they were all elected. You see, people think that democracy is voting. After voting, whatever I want, I can do to the people. When you are a leader and you have this mindset, the chances of you being toppled by whatever group is high. Do you understand? We need to. It's about time we develop tools in measuring our leaders when they are on the throne. When they are crossing the red line, then we should be able to tell them. You understand? All the leaders that we have had who have shown arrogance, some level of dictatorship and all of that, they all are elected through the ballot box. But after that, what happened? What happened? How do we measure them? How do their performance, governance, their governance style, very bad in Africa. We watch till the untoward happens, then we say that why they should have been patient. Yeah, it is good in all of this. If we choose democracy and we say that it's democracy we want to practice, we need to really understand democracy, and we need to understand democracy beyond elections. That even when you are on the throne, when you are in power and you are governing, you have to still deepen democracy. Democracy, consensus building, democracy is a whole lot of business that we must understand, so that we just don't come. Look, there are many African leaders who are elected, and what they are doing to their citizens is terrible.
Yeah.
AU is watching, ECOWAS is watching, nobody is talking until the untoward happen. Then you will now hear their voices, which is bad. We should not always wait till, look, I can mention country. Look, Tanzania, they did election. Is that election? Can you call it elections? Can you call it election?
Yeah.
Yet everybody is watching. The woman is ongoing with all that she did to swear herself in as president and all of that. People are watching.
Yeah.
You understand?
Recently.
It's shocking that we watch these things. I won't mention other countries, but I have visited an African country that if that president will have to plow any road, they have to clear every citizen away from the road before the president can pass. Every citizen. Not like Ghana here, when the president is passing, then you see other vehicles still by. No, they will clear every vehicle. You won't even see a fly on the road because the president wants to come and pass. You understand? Because he has tortured the people, and he just thinks that anybody can stand anywhere and shoot him. You understand? Why should we get to this stage? What is it? What are we looking for, African leaders? What do we want? Is it money? Is it power? Is it fame? What are we looking for? Such that when the people give you the opportunity, you want to torment them. You want to, look, most of them, bad economic policies.
Yeah.
Most of them, bad economic policies. They go so hard on their opponents. They don't want the media freedom. They don't want people to talk, express their minds. You understand? So when you go on that tangent as a leader, the tendency of a coup happening is high. Yeah. Even though I will always go for a democracy than a coup d'etat. Absolutely. So we ought to be careful. We need to, ECOWAS should sit up, AU should sit up, all the world bodies should sit up, so that at least when an elected government is going wayward, at least they should be able to advise him. You understand? Not that because he's elected, we are waiting for his 4-year term. If by then, if we all die.
That's right. That's right.
Now they've said that they are sending troops from Sierra Leone, from Ghana, Nigeria, and Ivory Coast to go and make sure that Benin government. I mean, these will come. We
all bear the brand.
Yeah,
we are out of time, unfortunately. But let me bring Paul into this conversation, because I know that this is. He was nodding when both of you were speaking.
Yeah. I mean,
we were saying the same thing.
Yeah. Last year is when we finished the first 10-year implementation of the AU Agenda 2063. So I did 2 blog posts: one assessing African security and 2 assessing democracy. And the second blog post, when you look at the title, you can see I wrote it in anger. I said, do not blame it on democracy, a call for authenticity. And I sent it to Wilson Center, where I'm alumni to publish, and they did publish, they rework it. You see, people are blaming democracy as a concept, but as Honorable said, it's not democracy per se that's being twisted. It's the implementation of the democratic principles, the dividends. That's what is being attacked. And people talk of coup when they see the apex of military men taking over country. But coup d'etat starts from when you topple people's human rights, when you manipulate your constitution to extend your tenure in office, when you siphon the country such that people are squeezed out of their system, when you don't allow your media to critique what you are doing in the system. So coup d'etat is actually the toppling of democratic indicators in your country, such that it will get to a point that people will be suffocated. And the apex will be the manifestation of military takeover. So military takeover, to me, is not a coup d'etat. The coup d'etat starts with your governance, how you treat your people in the system. And when you read the brief cursus of reasons why the Benin military said they took over, let me read briefly to you. He said, the soldiers cited multiple reasons for staging the coup, including the Talon's management of the country, to favoritism in the military, selective. I don't know. I just don't want to compare. I delivered facilitated a workshop at the Ghana Military Academy, and I did say this: when you go across Africa, our military people are positioning themselves for favors as to which government comes to power. If I'm not able to get the favors here, favors that are so multiple the systems of favors, then I have to align so that the next government who comes, who knows, I can get favors for that. That selection and alignment within our security systems is one of it. How can a section of them try to topple the government and if people turn around? It means the military itself is session. Then they can't neglect of the soldiers entirely. Then they come off economic hardships, including cuts of health care and increased taxes. I was just posting that with the Afrobarometer data that you're talking about. Satisfaction of democracy from 2011 to date is fallen from 45% to 33%. So the democratic dividends are not being enjoyed by the African citizen. And that are such. But when you go to African, like Honorable said, we like democracy. We prefer democratic dispensation than any other form. When I read the Afrobarometer data, it tells you, even though it's reduced from 83% 2011 to 65%, there's so higher preference for democratic ruling to military ruling. But you ask yourself, how long are we going to uphold democratic principles if we are not enjoying the dividends of democracy? And therefore, we need as a country to sit up. Honorable was asking for us to do checking our people. We have that in the system, African peer review mechanism. I think it was President Kufuor who was first assessed by the APM Secretariat of African Union. Since then, we've relaxed on that. We are not checking ourselves. And we need to check. And there's this ideology that the ECOWAS is an institution for presidents. And therefore, colleague presidents do not want to critique publicly their fellow presidents. And therefore, it's like tapping their bags here and there. We need to be objective, assertive, and to critique ourselves. Otherwise, the trouble of one country becomes the other. How come Ghana spent money to establish refugee shelter camp in the Upper West and establish one in Upper East? Because we're afraid of what is coming from Burkina Faso, and therefore we have to make contingency plans to receive people who come from there. Is it not part of the dangers that we are also facing? Sure. How are we even able to assess who are part of the asylum seekers? So there's a whole lot that we need to think together as Africans. And I admire the quick action of sending African standby troop to go and support the government to ensure that they stabilize the country. Right. But going forward, we need to be serious as Africans, peer review ourselves, publicly critique ourselves, and ensure that our government do the right thing.
So from what you said, based on what people are also saying, that, well, Burkina Faso seems to have become a model others are looking at. Do you think so?
I was discussing this with Professor Mabodi, my uncle, and also former executive director of CDD Ghana. Yeah. And he's worried about such statements. You know, and the Burkina and the supporters of Burkina have been able to activate a strong propaganda mechanism machine that's able to propagate wrongs. How many percentage of the country is managed by the government itself? If the country is free and doing well, how many of the entire geographical area is managed by the government itself? So people try to do, when they see one asphalted place, they propagate it to show that Burkina is doing well. If that was the case, if Ghana is managing only Volta region, can't President Mahama asphalt every part of the region? But the truth and reality is that the government itself is not even able to operate in a larger portion of its own country. So what is the benefit of that? Journalists and media guys are not free to publish what they see in Burkina Faso. If you dare publish, they employ you and send you to the war front. So people try to propagate as if it's one of the reasons why I wrote authenticating what democracy is. So Burkina people themselves are not free. Human rights abuses are high. The people are suffering from economic hardship. So if Traore goes to, I've forgotten that state where he did the big tomato farming, and the people will project it on television as if every part of Burkina Faso is free. That is not the case.
It's all research about him.
Yeah.
That tends to promote that he spends a lot on propaganda.
Sure.
You see some videos on social media where he's meticulously speaking perfect English, and you know this guy cannot. I mean, if he's speaking English, a French guy is
French
speaking
tonation.
English with a French tonation. So and for some reason, it inspires a lot of young people thinking that this is all happening in the country, and we have to be really
very careful about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
I went to Western region, Wasa Memfi, on a business trip, and I thought one of the mining companies there was moving its heavy equipment to other parts of the country. And when I came back, I saw on TikTok, Traore has bought power bank.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
If Traore has bought power bank and going from Accra or from the port to Burkina, what did he do at Asankregwa? What was that power bank going to do at Asankregwa? That's the part of the propaganda. But they pictured it on social media such that this is a power badge or so that we used to have something there in Ghana, but Traore has bought for his people. So the propaganda machinery is working, painting a picture that autocracy is now becoming beneficial than democracy, which of course is not the truth.
Very well. Prof, thank you. So that's Paul Nonakwabna Abrampa Mensah, team lead for security, sector governance, and local and urban governance at CDD Ghana. And gentlemen, thank you. Unfortunately, we are out of time. In fact, I think today is the day we have extended the review even longer than usual.
John Manama sacked about 12 generals.
Well, so that's
It's
Richard
really
Jeffrey.
worrying.
He is a member of the MPP's National Communications team. Also, we have the Drapa MP Kletu Seydou Dapila, who is also vice chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. So that's it for the breakfast review. Stick and stay with us because right after this, Joe Zedai is back from Nigeria. We'll talk some sports and get into other interviews right after this break. All right, so thank you so much for staying with us. Next up is the man Jones ADZ. I know you've not seen him in a while. Well, he's been in Nigeria doing quite a lot of things, and he's back in Ghana to share with us that experience with the para-athletes in Nigeria. Jones, welcome, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Hey.
sir. Yeah. Omo, how far now? How you doing now?
Charlie, but if you want to pick up something Nigeria, bro.
Yeah.
Bro,
Is it?
Go to UK and come back with a UK accent. Nah, Nigeria there.
What you saying, man? You're right, man.
Man, but how was the experience in Nigeria?
I mean, it was okay. It was not bad. I mean, Nigeria and Ghana are not too different.
Hey,
you know.
please.
Wait.
We have lights.
Okay, that one is true. That one is true. But we'll talk about the power games later. But this is our own, the Star Corporate work. It happened. Saturday was super, and we just want to thank everyone who showed up for the Star Corporate.
Massive energy, man. Massive.
And big shout out to Feeling Daddy. Feeling Daddy was just Charlie. Hey, the thing will happen. He for turn around.
He was threatening our lives.
Yeah.
That thing they're feeling that no force.
The Star Corporate talk, even
for make them big.
Yeah, one of our directors, you can see her in the shots there. And then this was a part that I missed so much. The likes of Echo has to be careful. There's going to be a part you see what he did. But then I think in a whole, it was super.
It was massive.
Yes, it was great.
I mean, for those who did not make it, Scare.
Yes.
Caught on camera.
You see?
Scare was caught on camera. And I like the way Tutu was looking at him. But it was massive.
Super
It was great.
Put together.
And Bola, big shouts to the man Bola Ray. He led the charge. We walked through the streets, we made noise with some good music and all of that. It was great.
I'm pained that I couldn't make it because the nice things that I see.
Yeah, you missed out, bro. You were in Nigeria.
Anyway.
On your way to Ghana.
Well, talking about Nigeria,
yes, sir.
The World Cup.
Charlie,
yes,
while we were looking at the groups would be, Nigeria was just watching like, okay, who is where?
With that, my big shout to my Nigeria friends. I told them that, anytime Nigeria would be beating us in any of the events in Nigeria, in Abeokuta, then I'll tell them that they should take their basketball. Let's say it's a wheelchair basketball. We'll take our World Cup. Then I'll tell them that they'll watch the World Cup on GSTV. And around the 27 minutes, NEPA will take their lights. And with that, a big shout to my good friends, Dubebi and Punja. They are journalists in Nigeria. I told you guys that, don't worry, the draw will happen. Now the draw has happened.
It has, man.
And I'll tell you about Ghana's draw pretty shortly. But then, I have a draw for Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria are in Group Z. Nigeria would take on NEPA FC and the Generator United as well as Otilo.
Why are you trolling Nigeria this morning? Come on,
No, they have to feel the pain.
Shit.
The World Cup is a big thing. But then for Ghana, we are in Group L. It's the last group. And the good news is that we are not going to Mexico. Yes. I don't know why you're happy, Mensah.
You're just saying we're not going to Mexico. Because
we are not going to Mexico.
I mean, I cannot speak Spanish, so
So Ghana's first game would be up against Panama, and we would also take on England and then Croatia. So Ghana is in Group L. You would see that, Group L, England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama. And the calculations have started. Well, Asamoah, former captain of the Black Stars, has been speaking and reacting to the draw and believes that by the time we get there, something will happen for Ghana.
Rio, you guys did a great job up there, and we've got all the groups now. And
Yes.
Canada, first game, in fact, America, Canada will be there. And then some people have started saying that as for the England match, England will explain why they gave mirror to our forefathers and took away our gold. So that game, I mean, would be happening at exactly 1 p.m. today on the game. We'll tell you about the games, the dates, and the possible times for the World Cup. Now let's head to the Paralympic Games, because that was why we were in Abeokuta, Nigeria, and the athletes won 40 medals. 40 medals, some gold medals, silver and bronze medals for Team Ghana at the first ever West African Paralympic Games. And well, I've been speaking to some of them, and they've reacted to the experience in Abeokuta, Nigeria.
We're here as a Team Ghana to represent our nation, to raise the flag of Ghana. Those who have this opportunity, it's an honor for them, and we just hope that we can improve on it going back home to learn whatever we have 1 year to improve on it next time.
Experience them bad my because badminton and I mean the shame more with the buy tea and no so the way I see me no almost see bono ha me who and so see we see after ya make on because me homework ye na me smile day next time matiniare the abamenim.
My target is to win the gold medal, but unfortunately Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me the bronze medal. Yeah. But inshallah, this is my first experience, and I'm telling you, next time I'll go and work hard and improve. I promise Ghana that next time I'll bring the gold medal to Ghana, inshallah.
And that's Aziz. Aziz plays table tennis, para table tennis. He won bronze for Ghana there. And I mean, super work from them. But then the coaches of the teams have also been speaking, as well as the chef de mission, Madam Mary Afedo, reacting to Ghana's experience at the Para Games. First of all, the coaches of the athletes.
We are grateful and thankful to the MPC. Now we are going to go back and then correct our mistakes. And then the next one will make sure we win a medal. Very excited to do that because most of them have never actually had the opportunity to shoot. But we gave them some training and then they did their best and then we are here. We congratulate them for at least getting some laurels for the country.
To the Ghanaians is that at least they should look out for the best next time. When we are to attend this competition, we'll prepare very well, and then we come to give our best to Ghanaians. And to my players too, we are going back, so let's go, and then we continue our preparation for our next program.
Well, I think it's been a good one. A lot of exposure for most of our athletes, like sitting volleyball. This is their first time. Other athletes too, this is their very first experience with the tournament. And I think in all, they've done well. We are proud of our achievements and we hope to do even better the next time we meet.
The team arrived on Friday around 11 thereabouts, and they were received by the president of the African Paralympic Committee, Mr. Samson Dean, who together with his people from the Walk with Julius team, as well as the NSA director, gave them some packaged cash, you know. And let's just get to listen to Mr. Samson Dean, president of the African Paralympic Committee.
Honorable Julius Zebra, chief of staff, Kahono. I Walk with Julius team, no. Omuma munina 20,000. Omu say sa, but we know about impromptu. I get to no. Periosai, ona oda aye Ghana supply. On a CEO of Ghana Supply. So put I have 5,000. That time I say, when you on one casa hire or two bottom 10,000.
Yes.
And so, thank you so much, President himself. He gave from 50K, and then the NSA boss also spoke. Yes, but then after listening to him, you know, Sharaf Mahama has a boxing bout coming up on the 20th of December, and he says he's giving them free tickets. All the athletes. I'm part. So, in fact, I was part of.
Are you an athlete?
Oh, hold on, pass. I'm part of the team. Let's also get to listen to Mr. Yawankra, and then the package from Sharaf Mahama.
In our prayers. And yourselves, be continuously dedicated to what you are doing. You are heroes. There's no doubt about it. But, I can see medals, you know, spread across. the Kaiba to London 2012 Olympics. I was with Raphael. Okay? There he is. And the way he conducted himself, some of you were there, and he's come this far, and I know others are also going to get to that level. Commonwealth Games is around the corner. LA is around the corner. Your president said one thing. From his heart, from his pocket, he has done what he can. We also have to now push to make sure that the support that you need comes from all quarters, whether corporate Ghana or Abaying. We have to do that. It's a mamonye. It's Sharaf Mahama. Invite mu nyina. Ono organize a boxing kakakapa e Legon Stadium. 20th of December. Osimu nyina mo amo ha yemfa le cinema no. O mamo free ticket mo na mo metina animu.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sharaf Mahama. We'll be there because I was also part of.
You are not a para-athlete.
No, I was part of the team. So I'll be there.
The para-athletes, not you, Jones.
It's a list. I'm part of the list. Are you part of the list? Anyway, it was a super experience. There are many stories I will be telling you about the para-athletes. We'll have some of them in studio for the game and then on Star for the Sports Digest as well. Let's quickly end off with the Ghana Premier League because Kumasi Asante Kotoko lost yesterday in Kpando. In Kodjo, I must say, not Kpando. I like Kpando very much. They lost to Kodjo United by a goal to nothing. Samatex also beat BBN Gold Stars 2-1. Dreams FC 2, Bechim United 1. Vision and Young Apostles played out a 0-0 draw. Midiama beat Brekum Chelsea 2-1. Indiana FC 0, Basake Stars 0. And Accra Hearts of Folk lost to Kerala United by 2-0. So let's meet for the game today at exactly 1 p.m. We'll tell you about the table with regards to the Ghana Premier League. The World Cup draw, your reactions. Otuado has been speaking as well. And then, of course, the para-athletics from the first ever West African Paralympic Games in Abeokuta, Nigeria. That's all for sports. I am Jones ADZI. And, of course, you know what? We're outside.
You're outside. So, I mean, before you go.
Yeah.
So, looking at the time you came into the studio and till now, if you were in Nigeria, how many times would the lights have gone off?
Charlie.
It's okay.
I'll tell you a story.
We'll be right back after this break. Today on GHOne television, and I'm sure that by now, if you've not heard, then I'll be really disappointed in you. We have the Christmas Came Early Fair here, and we are organizing GHOne Television, bringing you the Christmas Came Early Fair from the 11th to the 14th of December at the Junction Mall in Nungwa. In fact, this year, a lot bigger and better than all the other years and all the other events we've put up. And so if anything, if what we saw here last weekend is anything to go by, you know that the Christmas Came Early Fair is going to be bigger, it's going to be better, there's going to be live performances, so much for you to buy, so much for you to sell as well, because that's the biggest fair in Ghana pre-Christmas. That's where you can do all your Christmas, your Bronya shopping. You can do all of that, from the glasses to food, everything you can think of. We're bringing it to your doorstep at the Junction Mall in Nungwa from the 11th to the 14th. And this morning I'm excited because I'm speaking to one of our headline sponsors for the Christmas Came Early Fair. And I've been joined in studio this morning by the communications manager for CFAO. Yeah, for those of you who love cars, you cannot say you don't know this brand. Dennis Gauga has joined me. Dennis, welcome.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Nice to see you this morning.
I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So talk to me about, first of all, why you're a big part of the Christmas Came Early Fair.
Like you just said, it's a big fair, and we get to see a lot of Ghanaians coming in to patronize different products and services. And of course, we want to be a part of this big fair. Mm-hmm. So yes, share our offerings and give some interesting discounts and stuff.
Now the thing is becoming really sweet. When I hear discounts, I smile.
Yes, everybody loves a discount.
But I mean, at CFAO Mobility Ghana, talk to me. I know you are into cars. When you talk of And what I like about what you do is that you're not only for the high-end customers. There's a lot you're doing there. But talk to me about the brand and what you represent.
Awesome. So CFAO Mobility, if for the listeners or viewers who are very perceptive, we used to be CFAO Motors. And now we've changed over to Mobility. That changeover was a strategic move to embrace the whole spectrum of mobility, the mobility business. So yes, we have an offering for every pocket and every segment of our customer base. So from the high end, the mid-range, and then the affordable range, we have that. So we are basically a one-stop shop providing mobility solutions for Ghanaians and Africans as a whole. I mean, we've been in operations in Ghana for 116 years.
You're kidding
so
me.
for those who know, yes, you would know. We have the largest footprint in Africa, over 34 countries, 140 locations. Yes, so we have that clout, and that's why we are the mobility solutions partner for customers. So we have everything within the range that people would look for. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell about CFAO.
And in terms of the brands that you even represent, because you're not just for a specific brand. So like you said, from the high end to the middle range to the affordable ones as well. Talk to me about how all of these comes together for the Ghanaian market and how they address the needs of the Ghanaian people.
Okay, so for the high end, well, the top end segment of the market, we represent Mercedes-Benz in Ghana, different models of SUVs available for the top executives, the CEOs, the parliamentarians, execs, whatnot.
The journalists.
Yes, of course. Bring the cash on game. Yes, so we have the Mercedes-Benz range, Mitsubishi. So we represent Mitsubishi, a very robust Japanese brand. Mitsubishi has also been in Ghana with CFAO for a long time. Our customers trust the brand, a very robust, value for money brand. And Suzuki, the ever so popular Suzuki, which our streets have welcomed. The taxi drivers, the mobility, what do you call them? The ride-hailing, the ride-hailing companies, yes, they have embraced. We've sold over 2,000 in the past 2 years. Yes,
2,000.
Yes,
wow.
Yeah, close to 2,000 in the past 2 years, which shows that Ghanaians have embraced the brand. So for every segment, there is an offering that our Ghanaian customers have welcomed, and we are in the business of making sure that Ghanaians are mobile. We don't only sell cars, but we make sure that if you want to go and pick your kid from school, your car is working and is mobile, and we have the solutions for you to be able to do that. If you want to run your business, we have the solutions for you to be able to do that. Whatever mobility needs you have, land or sea, we have those solutions. We sell outboard motors as well. So we provide solutions for mobility.
So it's a holistic mobility solution that you provide.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure that you don't worry so much about just moving, but we have solutions from tires, rentals, long-term rentals. We have all of that to make sure that you're mobile, because we human beings don't like to be at one place. We have to be on the move.
I know being on the move is what we all want to do, but then with it also comes considerations, fuel cost, cost of maintenance, among other issues. How do you also factor that into the brands that you put out there? Because you mentioned that in the last 2 years, Suzuki, we've seen over 2,000. You've sold 2,000 pieces of that in the last 2 years. So how do you inculcate cost of fuel as well as maintenance into the operations?
Ghanaians, we know we are very, very careful with the expenditure, and we're very sensitive to fuel when it comes to vehicles. Yes. So once your car is drinking too much fuel,
you
park it somewhere. So this, is quite evident in the uptake of the Suzuki vehicle. The Suzuki, for example, is a very fuel-efficient vehicle. It's been proven and tested, and the drivers on the streets are evidence. I mean, they testify to that. Suzuki has employed very interesting proprietary technology in the vehicles to ensure that emissions are low, the fuel efficiency is very high. They consider the African market very largely to make sure that they have a solution for us. Small, light vehicles that serve the purpose. They are robust, they're strong, and they can go everywhere. So, for example, the small Suzuki vehicle like a Swift that we have, on 1 liter, you can do about close to 80 kilometers on that, which is exciting.
Wow.
Exactly. So I drive a Suzuki as well, and trust me, I'm full AC every time. Just a small amount of money, and the whole week I'm okay.
Wow.
Exactly.
So then
that's
that explains the uptake by especially those who use it for commercial purposes.
Beautiful. That's why people within the commercial space are upgrading to why not buy a brand new Suzuki? And I mean, in terms of fuel efficiency, the workshop maintenance and all of that, if you keep your car well, you're going to get value for money for that. That's why you see people are moving away from the used and getting the brand new ones. Yeah.
Right. And I must admit, they are very comfortable, because I have particularly long legs, and so I'm very particular about the vehicles that I go. And there were times I had my own reservation, like, this car is too small, I might not fit in it. And I was surprised the space I saw in the vehicle. So kudos on that. But you mentioned that you're not just touching land. Even outboard motors is something that you're also putting in the Ghanaian markets. A little bit tells me that you are also into heavy-duty trucks.
Yes. So the business is in two parts, although we consider ourselves CFAO Mobility. It's in two parts, the passenger vehicles or the multi-brand segment of the business, and then the equipment side of the business, which deals in heavy-duty trucks, machines, tires, all the industrial things. So we represent Mercedes-Benz trucks once again. GHOne trucks. We've always been talking about Chinese. We need a cheaper or more affordable, option. So we have GHOne trucks, and which is also flying off the shelves. We have Lovo machines. So they are the excavators, the backhoes. So those in the construction, mining, all of those industries, yes, we have that solution for them. And then also we have light trucks, so those doing haulage. Right now in this season, rice and oil is moving. So you need a Fuso truck to do that, and it's based on Daimler technologies, also Mercedes technology now, but it's not too expensive. I mean, for the business you do, imagine you're hauling 2 million cedis worth of rice, and then your truck goes and breaks down. I mean, it's going to cost you money.
A lot of them are breaking down on the Amazon road.
Exactly, you know what I mean, causing traffic. So you get a Fuso truck, you're sure to get your business done. So we have that business as well, and then a full range of tires for all kinds of trucks, buses, machines, passenger vehicles. So you see, it's a whole mobility solutions center for the Ghanaian customer.
And how is your after-sales service like? Because you're telling me that you're not just selling vehicles, you're selling parts and all of that. But then when the vehicles go out there, what's the plan for when vehicles develop faults and all of that? How's the after-sales department working?
Yes. So our after-sales unit is attached to all our branches. So Accra, Tema, Takoradi, Kumasi, we have an after-sales, workshop or service center attached to demonstrate our interest or our seriousness about after sales. We actually built a standalone center at Spintex to take care of vehicles that we sell. Looking at the demand going in, we actually built that to take care of that. And we also have a partnership with Total Ghana, Total Energies Ghana, with stations in Tamale and Bolgatanga, and then I think Sunyani, thereabouts, with a few more going to be added soon. Yes, and so, yes, we have those stations in their service, the fuel stations.
Okay.
Yes, and so we've trained mechanics to be able to service vehicles there. So we take after-sales service very seriously. We use only genuine parts from the manufacturer. Yes, they may be a little pricey, but once you change those parts, you don't have the need to change parts frequently, by going, to the side of the road. Yeah.
So for those who purchase vehicles from you, they can rest assured knowing that whatever happens to the vehicles, you have centers that address these concerns and make the vehicle look as new as they bought it when they got it from you.
So it's a plug and play after sales strategy or concept. Okay. If this part is the problem, we take it out and then we put a brand new part back in. So
genuine original from the manufacturer.
Genuine original from manufacturer. So it's not made for parts, but manufacturer. And then our technicians and our engineers are trained by the manufacturer with different levels of certification. So we are constantly undergoing trainings, different levels of trainings to ensure that the vehicles you buy from us, we have the knowledge to take. It's not try and error. Oh, this part is not necessary. You can take it off. No, we don't do that.
Right. Yeah. So in terms of the vehicles, I know that quite a number of people, we are seeing a lot of import of used vehicles because people cannot buy, brand new tear rubber, as we put them, vehicles. Is there a plan from CFAO for people who cannot necessarily purchase brand new vehicles?
Okay, the questions keep exposing why we are the mobility solutions partner. So at CFAO, we also have a used car business.
Okay.
So you can trade in any brand of vehicle and top up and purchase a vehicle from us or purchase another used vehicle. Now, the good thing is that our partners, Cheki Ghana, and ourselves, basically, we run checks on the vehicle to make sure that the vehicle is worthy of the road, and then we guarantee the vehicle for you for 6 months. So this is the only place you can buy a used vehicle and get guarantee for 6 months.
Wow.
Yes. So if you're buying a used vehicle from us, you're guaranteed 6 months to use the vehicle. And then you can also trade in whatever vehicle you have, whatever brand, we'll assess it and then put a value to it, and then you can top up and purchase another vehicle. So the used car market, we also consider people who are of that bracket and may not be able to afford a brand new vehicle. But yeah, we make those considerations for them. And we also have banking partners that support this venture as well. So we're just making sure that you're on the move.
A one-stop shop.
One-stop shop.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So for our viewers who would be at the Christmas Kimberley Fair, what should they expect?
Oh yes, they should expect everything regarding mobility. We have reduced our prices. We will meet you wherever you are. We'll meet you in your purchase of a brand new vehicle.
Wow.
There's one thing I didn't mention. We also have a center that takes care of servicing for all brands of vehicles. Autofast Ghana, Autofast by CFAO. They will also be at the fair. They'll do quick assessments of people's vehicles. Whatever brand you drive, bring it. We'll look at it, and then we'll do a quick servicing for you. We have 20% discounts for people who will come and service their vehicles at Autofast. Guaranteed CFAO level servicing, not the roadside.
The roadside one.
Yes.
Not the trial and error one.
Not the trial and error
Dennis,
one.
thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, CFAO, for being a part of this. And so all traffic leads to the Junction Mall from the 11th to the 14th. That's where you get to enjoy those benefits that Dennis is talking about. Charlie, 20% discounts. They are putting in place measures for you to be able to acquire a vehicle. If you already own a vehicle, you want to get another one, Charlie, come talk to them at the Christmas Came Early Fair. Dennis Gauga he handles communications for CFAO, and it's a privilege to have him here. But it's the 8th day of December 2025. Former President John Agyekum Kufuor is 87 years today, so happy birthday to you, sir. But let's do the birthdays now. And this one says, happy birthday, Miss D. Having you as my wife is the biggest blessing of my life. Thank you for filling our home with love, laughter, and warmth. You make every day brighter just by being yourself. On a special day, I pray your heart feels as cherished as you make mine feel. May this year bring you joy, peace, and everything your beautiful soul desires. I love you more than words can say. And it's from your husband, Richard Osei Bofa, to you. Happy birthday, D. Happy birthday to you, my personal person, Faustina Glover. On your special day, I pray for joy, happiness, long life, and good health. And it's from Sami to you. This one says, happy birthday, Richard Kwesi Ofer. The Lord bless and make you great as you mark 40 years on planet Earth. We celebrate you today, man of God. Sing a new song and do a new dance in the name of Jesus. And this is from Pastor Alex Brown and Mrs. Evelyn Brown. To you, Richard Kwesi Ofer. Belated happy birthday, Mrs. Hannah Siedu. Though your special day was yesterday, we still want to celebrate the wonderful woman, wife, and pillar you are at Christ Apostolic Church, Kutubabi Assembly. Thank you for your kindness, grace, and the love you pour into everyone around you. And this from your prodigal daughter, Priscilla. She says, lots of love to you, Mrs. Hannah Siedu. Do have a wonderful day, ma'am. And yes, as you celebrate this special milestone, I want you to know how much I love you, how proud I am of the kind, curious, and adventurous person you're growing into. May your birthday be as bright and beautiful as your smile, and may all your dreams and wishes come true. I love you more than words can say. Little smart, and it's from your mom, Charlotte Araba Eshen, to you. Charlie, do have a wonderful day, my boy. Well, that's all the package we have for you on GA today. Thanks so much for being a big part of the show. We'll see you same time, God willing, tomorrow, right here on GHOne Television. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Good morning.